This video will demonstrate where to get Biolucida Viewer installation file, the steps in installing it, and setting up two clouds, one to view lab specimens in addition to the ones you study in WebMic, to get a further feel for the more realistic histology and virtual slides, and also to be able to access specimens within a Blackboard quiz logged into Blackboard within Biolucida, so you can interact with virtual slide specimens that we also use in quizzes and exams. So to get the installation file, you go to biolucida.net. And when you get to that website, the name of the website, well, the company is the MBF Bioscience, and they make software to access and analyze microscope images from anywhere in the world. In the lower right part of this particular page you've accessed, and these are also called whole slide images or virtual slides. They're not static. You'll learn more about them in the videos we describe, and you also see me interact with a virtual slide once I get the installation accomplished. So we're going to download the Biolucida Viewer, accept the terms, and it detected that I have a Windows 64-bit and I'm on a Dell laptop. And so if you have 32-bit, it's going to detect that. If you have a Mac, it'll detect that. You must have a Mac operating system 10.6 or higher. So I'm going to click download, and it'll start downloading very quickly. The installation files Biolucida Viewer Setup -x64 in my case. It's about 24.6 megabytes. Now I'm not going to save the file because I've already downloaded it to make this video not so long. So I'm going to minimize my browser window, and I'm going to move over the installation file, Biolucida Viewer Setup 64. Double click on it and the installation will begin. Okay, it's preparing to install now. Extracting the files, and now I say next. So it wants me to accept the terms, which I will, and then next. And then it's going to install my C drive. It makes a folder. It's going to go Program Files, MBF Bioscience, and Biolucida Viewer. That's where you'll be able to find it. The installation process is also going to put a shortcut on the desktop. So here goes the installation, and it should happen very rapidly. Okay, so everything is done. We finish, and then you wait just a moment, and you're going to get this window. And I'm going to adjust this. Well, I can't move it up yet. I can move this up. I can't move the back window up yet. Use web URL. That's what you want to click on. Do not use quick code. Do not click on visit feature site. Click on use web URL. So what you're going to do is you need to type in the URL, and this is in the PDF. It's going to be COCASVSCOPE.cas.sc.edu. The name of the server is Cocos vScope. It's located in the College of Arts and Sciences, CAS, and University of South Carolina. Now we're going to set up the lab specimen cloud first. So you want to change my cloud to lab specimens. So you always know when you click on that, that's what you're going to get. And then the username is histology lab specimens. All one word. The password is organs. I'm going to type that twice and then save. Now we have our lab specimen cloud set up. Now we need to set up using the same URL. You don't have to change that, but we want to set up a cloud to access Blackboard and log into Blackboard within Biolucida, and this is for taking the part of a quiz or exam of the course. It'll be part B of each module quiz, it'll be part B of the midterm, and it'll be part C of the final, in which you'll have questions in Blackboard that have a link to a virtual slide within Biolucida Viewer. And so we're going to change this to quiz exam taking. So we always know that that's the one we connect to take a quiz or exam. And again, it's the same URL. You don't have to change that. And then the password is tissues. Type that twice and then save. So now we have two clouds set up, and we're going to go and access the first cloud. We click on Lab Specimen and say connect. So now it's connecting, and I'm going to move this up so you can see the whole thing. And what you have here, you see this little book sign, that's a bookmark. If you click that off, then the bookmarks disappear. If you click it on, then you can actually move this away from here and have it most anywhere and floating. And then you can click on, say, Module 1, and let's say you wanted to explore the integument. And it'll bring up the integument specimen. I'm going to move my bookmark over here. And I want to see the annotation, whatever we have put for you to talk about. And there's another video that will go in more detail on how to interact with virtual slides. But just briefly, if you want to make sure you start to the starting point we set, click on the annotation like that. Notice here, if you click this, the annotation goes away. Up here, the hand, with a pencil and the piece of paper, click it, it comes back. You can make the reference image over on the right disappear by clicking on the magnifying glass. And then when you magnify this using the thumb wheel, you notice over here there's a little yellow square, and if I move it up here, then I'm a high magnification on the edge of this specimen, which happens to be the epidermis of the skin. Okay, and so I'm using my mouse wheel, or I could center this, just grab a hold of it, move it, and I could go to the plus and go higher, or I can go down lower. I can make the annotations disappear clicking on this little eye over here, etc. Also, this is a way you can change. You can go to the highest magnification like that. You can bring it down to the lowest magnification, like so. And anyway, that's the interaction with lab specimens. Now, when you close this, you will see folders over here, and you can make this bigger on your computer, but say you were in Module 3 now, you'll have many more specimens in Module 3. Like here's a specimen of the spleen. When that comes up, you will see that you have the spleen here. And I want to make sure I have the macro view. Well, that's not showing up right now, so I'll fix that. Well, in that spleen specimen, the macro view up here didn't show up. If I click this off, it should come back and forth like that. This is another specimen of the heart. But before I finish this video, I will close Biolucida, come back in, and I'm pretty sure that this spleen macro will show up. So anyway, that's the lab connection. So when you want to get out of this, you can close these tabs one at a time. If you close the browser tab, then you'll have to click on this to get back, and then you go to connections. And now what we want to do is connect with the quiz exam taking cloud. So we connect with that. I've got to fix something. I think that I may have typed in the wrong. So let me see. I'll stop this video, and I found the mistake. I put in the wrong username. The username for this is histology quiz exam. So I still had the histology lab specimen username, and that would not work. So when I save that, and then when I click on this and connect, it should connect, and there it does. So now what we have is we have the Blackboard login window within Biolucida Viewer. Notice up here, Biolucida Viewer, and we're able to lock in the Blackboard, which I'm going to do. Okay, I'm logging in with my credentials, and when I do, I can go down here and I can click on the course. And you're instructed very early in the course to go to the quiz exam information page on the course website, and you're instructed to go to the sample test, and you're instructed to take the part A, which does not need Biolucida. You can do that outside of Biolucida, logged into Blackboard, but you must be logged in to Blackboard within Biolucida to take part B. And so I'm going to click, and we'll just click on a couple questions to show you how this works. So here's the question. Now these questions are delivered one at a time, and here it says click to access the virtual slide. I can magnify this. Well, I thought I could, but my particular it won't increase in size within Biolucida Viewer. So hopefully you can see click to access the virtual slide. And this says identify the organ enclosed within a dashed line. So when I click on this, you notice it opens up a tab, and this is a specimen of tongue, and we have something outlined here. And if I click on the annotation window up here, a little icon, then the same question in the Blackboard question shows up here. Identifies the organ enclosed within a dashed line. Well, this happens to be tongue, and this is lingual tonsil. And the nice thing about virtual slides is you can magnify and see these are lymphocytes once you learn about lymphocytes, how to recognize them being very tiny cells with nuclei and very little cytoplasm. Then you can move around and see the context, and then always go back and say go to, and that takes you to the original magnification that we set in that question. Okay, so that's the way. There are other videos that demonstrate this more. So I'm going to go out of this, and now we can log out of Blackboard here. And once we do that, we can click on connections, and then we can go back to lab specimens if that's what we want to do. Or you can also, there is a connection over here, Iowa Virtual Slide Box, and that has quite a few histology and histopathology slides, and when you get there it will show you this default specimen, which happens to be the pancreas. And if you click on this, it will label different things like the islets of Langerhans, just giving you a demonstration. But what you need to do is to close all of those and then open up this folder and the histology collection, and most anything, like if you wanted to study, let's say, the skin specimens, you have some specimens you can access outside of what we have put in the course for you for practice. You can also go out on the internet and look up anything on the Google or using any search engine and click on the images for looking at a cell, a tissue, or organ. Once you've learned in the lecture in the lab, then you are somewhat educated, and you can be discriminating of what you see on the web. So we encourage you to use the basic tools and the resources in the course, but in order to really learn and reinforce, expand your knowledge by venturing out as your time permits. Okay, so I'm going to return this to the connection page, and each time you come in to Biolucida, this is what you're going to see. And I'm going to click on the lab specimens, connect there, and then I'm going to close this, and then I've got my shortcut over here. So whatever you were logged in before you close Biolucida, when you open up it again, that's where you will be. So always remember, you can change your connections by clicking on connections. Okay, I hope that will get you started.